if you want to go far, go alone. Oh, no, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, bring a team. And so bringing a team, it multiplies you again. And I keep a team close by me who understands that they can tell me honest feedback about this decision, and I will hear them, I will consider it, and I will come out with a solid decision, more solid than if I don't decide in a group. Another thing that I have in my decision system is space. I try my best to trade time and space. So how I do that is I use every second possible to make hard decisions. I'm not hesitant to make decisions. I'm a decision maker by nature. I just look at something, take a little information, I decide. And that works for me in most cases of life because I'm also okay with saying, oh, I made the wrong decision. Let's go back and evaluate. But a lot of decisions have these consequences that you want to make sure once I say X, Y is going to happen in the life of this person. So I try to take the maximum amount of space to make sure I'm making that solid decision because the consequences are so great. And I think when people do that, it helps you with your blind spots, and it also helps you to think without the pressure of time. If you can leverage it and give yourself just a little bit more time to think through it. So the other thing I do is I don't spend a lot of time rethinking the decision once the decision is made. So part of my decision system is my decisions are really close to final once I make them. Now, that does not count in all situations, but if I'm taking the time to have wise counsel around me to advise me, if I have all the information I needed in the first place, which, I have what I have, and if I'm taking the time to marinate on the matters, the consequences, third order effects, if I had time to sleep on it, then the decision I come out with is going to be the decision. And I don't negotiate that back and forth. For instance, I've had a lot of hard decisions to make because I get the opportunity to be in a space of making hard decisions that affect people's lives. And every time I was able to make those decisions, I come back to the group, right? Start where I started with that wise counsel. And I say, group, here's my decision. And that group can have members who are not happy with that decision, and I'm okay with that. And I let them know, I heard you the first time when you gave me the advice. We're not going back on the decision at this point. Let's move forward. Now, after that decision, I'm in a hierarchical organization, right? So there's someone who can make another decision that will cause me to reevaluate. But in the context of being the decision maker for the level that I'm on, I'm not going back to negotiate the decision. The fourth system I think leaders could benefit from mastering is, might be new to you, but a system, it's called a focus system. And I think I made that up, but I'm not sure. So what I mean when I say a focus system is developing a way to protect the time for deeper thoughts. So that can look like creating white space in your calendar and in your life. So I'll tell you about how I have done and how I do both of those. When I have someone to help me manage my calendar, I tell them the days of the week, or if the organization is larger, days of the month that I'm going to be offline. And when I say offline, it means that no one can reach me during these hours unless it's a bona fide emergency, and then I define what an emergency is. I also communicate with my boss, who might be looking for me during my white space time, to let my boss know that, ma'am, I will be having white space from this hour to this hour. And my front office they know how to get a hold of me. I'm not missing, I'm not lost. I'm intentionally disconnecting and unplugging so that I can think. I need time to think. I'm leading bright minds, I'm leading people, and I'm developing systems, and I need time to think. So I'm taking that time. And then I teach my team to help me protect the time, because my leadership style is, if someone says, you got a minute? Yep, sure do. every time, right? And so I've learned some ways to manage that, but my natural response is going to be, you need me? Sure, come on. But when I'm having white space, I have to sit and I have to not be available to other people so I can decide things, so I can move the organization forward. The other place I have like white space in leading is in my family. So I will coordinate with my husband and let us decide, when can I go away? Like, I just want to go for 24 hours, 48 hours, and I just need to think. I'm not going to want to answer the phone. I'm not going to be, on social media or anything. I'm going to sit with quietness, and I'm going to sit with books, and I'm going to bring my Bible, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to ponder and let my imagination do imagination things. And I'm going to practice being creative. And I'm going to do that by myself, in my own brain, in my own space. And I have a system of that, right? I do it in a way where all the pieces of my life work together for that type of equilibrium. And I'm thankful for it. And I can tell you that when I have been good about doing that, my organizations are led better. My family has a better outcome for ourselves and from me. And I feel like I can handle it a little bit more. It being whatever the ball of leadership yarn has thrown at me, right? Okay, so you got those four systems that I think would benefit you as a leader to master. But let's ask some real questions, okay? So I have 4 questions for you too. I guess 4 is our number for this episode, even though it's episode 3. What could you elaborate on that is working well in your current system of communications? I know sometimes we want to go to, what can I improve? What can I do better? And there's always room for that. There's also always room for, let me pinpoint what I do well in communication. How can I make that stronger? Because I think in a system, since everything is integrated in a system, when one thing becomes stronger, oftentimes another thing becomes weaker, right? You got it. So that means that you can focus on the good parts of how you communicate well, and maybe that can help dwindle down the places where you're not such an effective communicator, where your system might have a broken component. So that's kind of 2 questions in one. And then where could you make some minor adjustments, right? The B part of that question, where could you make some minor adjustments that make your communication system work better, work well, work even at all? And yeah, I'll leave the communication one there. Also, look at what are you doing that could currently be deleted, delegated, automated, or outsourced. What are you doing? Oftentimes there's something in your life, in your day-to-day, that can be done by another system or can not be done at all. How many times have you been required to provide a recurring report about something, and you do it without knowing where's this report going, who is looking at it, does it even matter? And then you take a step and say, I'm just not going to send this report anymore, and nothing ever happens. Yeah, I've done that a lot of times. So you can usually find waste that is hanging around you, stealing your brain power, your decision space, your leadership ability to manage everything, because there's waste and redundancy. So my 4th question is, ask yourself, where do I need to create a system? Where is it where I'm just using my brain system, I'm using my talent, and I'm sure you're extremely talented, but you probably could be talented other places, maybe at a higher level, if you had a system in something. So what is that thing? So take a minute to think through those questions so that you can evaluate where you might get more productivity for yourself and just more happiness, more joy, more time to lead well if you just established some systems or tapped into an already existing system, right? Like the internet did for everybody. Although some people say the internet was bad, but we won't talk about that right now. Now, let's get to your happy place, leaders. So I have some tips to help you get to your happy place. And the first one is find the one thing that you can delete, delegate, automate, or outsource. Find the one thing. There is something that you could simply stop doing that you have been doing that will help you in this leadership journey. Now, once you delete, delegate, automate, or outsource that thing, protect the space. Do not fill it with something else that should be automated, deleted, or outsourced or delegated. Just don't do it. It's really difficult when you're a high-performing person, high-functioning person, to see blank space in your life and not fill it with something else. I am speaking from my own brain, my own experience, but don't do it. Resist the urge to fill in this newly created space with something else that doesn't need to be there. Alrighty? And so this is what I want to leave us with this episode. Let's agree that multiplying yourself in leadership, that's the flex. Juggling dynamite is not the move. All right. And when you're facing leadership chaos and you want to subdue the chaos a bit, systems are the solution. Not taking on more chaos or, putting on your superhero cape and saying, well, I can do that too. Yes, you can do all these things, and you're empowered and qualified and beautiful and all these things, whatever you need to hear, you're all of that so you can do it. But I want us to take the challenge to maximize and normalize systems that will squash the chaos that happens around leadership so that we can be better about leading from our happy place. I hope this episode was helpful. It helped me. Happy leading. Till next time.